is Sky Speciale, and I worked in La Ceiba, Honduras from March 12th to March 18th in the pre-nursing and pre-medical program in 2 hospitals in La Ceiba. The local Broader View coordinator, Rafael, was a wonderful host during my week in Honduras. He drove us to and from the hospital each day to ensure our safety and was always open to hearing our questions and concerns. I'm really grateful for everything he did to make sure I was having the best experience possible. The most surprising thing I experienced at the program was how many surgeries were performed while the patient was still awake, instead of using general anesthesia. The surgeons were very open to our questions and explained that general anesthesia is much more expensive, so they use other anesthesias to cut costs. At the accommodation, I was surprised by the amount of food I was served in La Ceiba. Although breakfast and dinner are considered smaller meals compared to lunch, I always had plenty of food to eat. About the country, I was surprised by the economic diversity in La Ceiba. Although I witnessed poverty as we drove through the streets, Rafael and his family lived in a beautiful house in an affluent neighborhood. The hardest part of this experience was the language barrier. Although I had taken Spanish in high school, I quickly learned how difficult it was to communicate with the native speakers in La Ceiba. But luckily, one of the other volunteers spoke very well and translated some of the more difficult conversations for me. At the accommodation, there's no hot water, so showering was sometimes difficult, especially after a rainy day when the weather wasn't very hot. And in the country, I was only there for 1 week, so I wasn't really able to experience much of the city, but I did notice that the traffic in La Ceiba can get pretty crazy. There weren't any lanes, so cars were pretty much going in all directions, so crossing could be kind of dangerous. Tips for future volunteers. I would recommend bringing lots of scrubs, because when you are observing surgeries at the Social Security hospital, you have to change into a clean pair before going into the OR. Donations, I brought stuffed animals for the kids, which they really liked. And then for the weather, it's really hot, so make sure you drink a lot of water, and because it's really easy to get dehydrated. Other things volunteers should know: if you're not fluent in Spanish, download a Spanish translator on your phone so you can easily look up words you don't know. I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to volunteer in Honduras. Everyone in the Broader View program really wants you to have the best experience possible. This program also allowed me to gain so much more hands-on experience than I would be able to get in the U.S. I was able to take vital signs and assist in wound cleaning. I also observed C-sections and many other surgeries. All the doctors were very welcoming and thankful for our help, and they were willing to explain what they were doing and why. Rafael and his family made me feel at home in La Ceiba. I never felt unsafe during my volunteer experience. I was very grateful that Rafael took the time to drive us to and from the hospital each day to make sure we got there and back safely. The meals were delicious, and I always had plenty to eat. My favorite memory of the trip was observing my first C-section in the program, and then in the country when we had no work to do at the Social Security hospital. One of the doctors treated us to popsicles at a local Honduran store, which is really cool. And then a Broader View U.S. support before traveling was really great. I always received really prompt responses, and they were very accommodating to everything I needed. The website also had really detailed information. I really liked the reviews from previous volunteers that they had. Yeah.
Thank you, Sky, for being volunteer with the Broader View Honduras. Have a safe trip home, and we hope to see you back very soon. Gracias.